Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for Friday, June 6th. We're back. We got 12 games to break down, and I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. Come join us at LineStar. We do have a 7-day free trial through the app stores, Android or iOS. Come try us out. You can get everything, the props, the DFS, the best ball, all for a 7-day free trial. No better time to check it out than now. Let's dig into today's slate and see what we can uncover here. As always, we are going to start with the perfect lineups from yesterday. The winning lineups on both slates and both sites, I should say, FanDuel and DraftKings. And then we are going to round it out with our picks for today, our pitchers to consider, and some stacks. All right, on DraftKings, we got Framber Valdez and Max Fried. 5-game slate. It was Texas, two-man Royals, two-man Astros that got it done as far as the perfect lineup, 259.25. And the winning lineup went to Baseball Fan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 25K more to now be a baseball fan, which is a good spot to be in. He had Fried, he had Valdez, so he got the two chalky pitchers. He had a 4-man Houston stack, a 3-man Cubbies with a one-off with a burger bomb. So congrats to him. Won by 4 points. 55 off the perfect lineup is all you needed. Now, FanDuel, Framber Valdez, 2-man Texas, 3-man Stros, and then a couple one-offs. Junior Camarino, hat, belly bombs, got it done. And the winning lineup went to B Crimson 10, who had Valdez, had a 4-man Houston stack, 3-man Texas with the old one-off of Aaron Judge. So the 4-3-1 profitable lineup on FanDuel. Let's get it in. Let's get it over to DraftKings and check out today's slate. All right. I think our ownership is going to change quite a bit. But for now, let's go with it. Sonny Gray, 20% owned, 9,700. He is versus the Dodgers. I do not expect him to continue to stay this high owned. Our projection is low. The consensus is low. And I expect him to end up being a lower owned options. But as of now, he's popping. So maybe somebody likes him. I just don't really love the spot for him. Look, 2.47 FIP, 3.56 over the last 20. You got a solid K rate. His upside is obviously there at sub 10K, but he's versus the Dodgers, and the past is okay. He's had some big games versus them, but most of the time, he's going to go, 5-6 innings, put up or allow 2-3 earned runs, have a handful of strikeouts, and just not get enough done for his price. Next, we got Seth Lugo, 8,800, 20% owned. Look, Lugo's versus the White Sox. And he's a pitcher that can go deep into games, work efficiently, and get some Ks when he's on. So I'm interested in Lugo. It's a good spot for the White Sox. I don't expect him to be 20% owned, one of the highest owned pitchers, but I do expect him to carry some ownership. It's a good spot for Seth Lugo. I don't mind some whatsoever. Next, we got Ben Brown, 7K, 19% owned versus the Tigers. Would not be surprised if Ben Brown is in one of those higher owned spots today. Detroit, striking out at 23.6%. Now, you don't want to face Detroit. They've been a solid offense, but Ben Brown has been dealing. 3.18 FIP over his last 20. 2.46 over his last 5. Over a 6.66 ERA. The guy has been pitching way better than the numbers show, and there's a chance that we could get some positive regression in that spot today. He absolutely was dealing versus Cincinnati, going 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, no earned runs just a week ago. I like him today. Definitely going to have some. 7K is too cheap. It's a tough spot, but 29% K rate for 7K. Sign me up. I like it. Combined K rate, that is. Next, we got Tariq Skubal. 19-point projection, 11.5 price. He's in a tough spot versus the Cubbies, but hey, Cubbies have actually struggled versus lefties a little bit, and it's Scooble. I don't care who he's going against. I will pick him, versus absolutely anybody. And Cubbies are no exception, even though they have been very, very good. He has been averaging 22% more fantasy points at home. We got a 31.8% combined K rate. I'm not going to dig into this one too much because it's Scooble. I'm going to play some of them, without a doubt. There's nobody with a ceiling quite like him, and I think there's some cheap guys we can use out there as well. Kodai Senga at the Colorado Rockies. This one is in Coors. Senga, while he is a great pitcher with a very solid ceiling, he's in Colorado. Is that Ghost Sport going to move as much in that light air? Not too sure here, but Rocky's been an awful offense regardless of where they play. I don't mind a little bit. At 9K, he's a little cheap for, the quality of starts he can do, but it's just rough to start anybody in Coors. Will Warren, 8K, 15% owned. Look, we only have him at 13-point projection. The consensus is 16. Consensus warrants playing here. The 13 does not warrant playing, but this is my issue with Will Warren here. 3.78 FIP over his last 20. 2.1 over his last 5. K rate is up there. There is strikeout upside. StatCast data is a little rough here. 41% hard contact, 35% fly balls, 30% line drive. So guys are definitely teeing him up a little bit here, but StatCast data, or the 2.11 FIP, makes me really not want to fade him when he's only 8K and a 29% K rate. I think he's in a very interesting spot. While Red Sox are a good offense, they are a little bit boom bust, and if Warren can miss some bats, there is some high upside in this spot. I don't mind a little bit of Will Warren here. Next, we got Spencer Swallenbach, 10K, 13% owned versus the Giants in very pitcher-friendly park out at Oracle. Winds are blowing out, but the stadium, cuts winds down quite a bit. He just had 2 absolutely insane outings. 3.38 FIP over his last 20, 3.16 over his last 5. StatCast data is unbelievable. Giants have struggled a little versus righties over the last 20 games and 23.8% combined K rate. The one thing with Schwelly is that upside in the K department. When he puts it together, he has huge strikeout upside. 11 Ks the last 2 games, 10 Ks versus Miami, but outside of that, he's usually in that 4 to 6 strikeout range, which makes it where you don't totally want to pay up for 10K there, but the ceiling is there to warrant that price. I'm absolutely fine for a little bit of Schwelly. I do like him on FanDuel a little bit more just because you get the quality start bonus. Obviously, he's in a very good spot for a quality start bonus. Next, pivot-wise, I wanted to talk about Bailey Ober, 7,700. Look, he has a FIP of 4 over the last 20. FIP of 3.58 over the last 5. 22% K rate, but he is a guy that when he puts it together, similar like Bassett a little bit, he can bring on an extra few Ks and really give himself the ceiling. We haven't seen a nice ceiling game out of him yet, but he has beat up this Toronto Blue Jays roster. 59 BVP plate attempts. They're hitting 200. They're striking out at 23%. 73 WOBA. Only a 240 WOBA, 73 ISO. And then if you look at the matchups last year, 6.1 innings, 10 Ks, got a win, no earned run. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 8 Ks. He beat them up twice last year. I'm absolutely willing, with very low ownership, to give him a couple shots. Next, Colton Gordon, 6.5K on DK, 4.4 FIP over his 4 starts so far. 49% fly balls, very little soft contact, very little line drives, little hard contact as well. Cleveland struggled a little bit versus lefties, 224 average over the last 20, 72 ISO, 274 WOBA, striking out at 22%, 6.7K and 22.5% combined K rate. I think the ceiling's there to warrant some, and we've seen some nice strikeout games. 7 versus Tampa Bay, 6 versus Tampa Bay, 4 versus Seattle. Only 3 versus KC in his very first start, but I think he has enough leash. They'll give him, 80 pitches or so, 85 maybe, 22% combined K rate. He's interesting at 6.5K to me a little bit. Now, let's get over to FanDuel, see what we got here. Our high ownership here, we got Swelly. We got Bryce Miller at 7,700. We didn't talk about Bryce Miller, but I got to bring up the fact that, so he is back, obviously. Went on IL, missed about 20 days or so, and came back 71 pitches. I don't think he's going to go full out yet. I think he's probably going to be 80-ish pitches, maybe 85. The thing is that he didn't even have a rehab assignment in the minors, so they just threw him right out there because they needed him. I think he's going to be a little bit limited. I don't think he's going to go full out. However, it is a very good spot. Look, his K rate, 23.9%. Angels strike out, 24% clip. BVP data is a 27% K rate there. And they haven't really been able to hit him in Anaheim, or Los Angeles, sorry. And I don't mind a little bit, but just warning about this pitch count, because I think he is on one. 7,700 is too cheap for him, though. Will Warren, 8,100, definitely like that spot. Ben Brown, 8,300, no ownership, and he's cheap. Sign me up. And then Lugo at 8,900 is a little interesting as well. More so on FanDuel just because there's that quality start bonus. Now, let's check out some stacks before we can round this out for the day and see what we get. Our highest owned, we got the Mets in Colorado versus Senzatella. We've been picking on Senzatella all year. No reason to stop here. Poor bullpen behind him. He's not great. Mets are in a great spot. Baltimore versus JP Sears. JP Sears, 8.14 FIP over his last 5. 5.22 over the last 20. It's almost 90 degrees. Winds are blowing out double digits. Sign me up for some Baltimore. Highest projected, Mets and Arizona. Arizona versus Nick Lodolo. Lodolo not as good at home. 9.5 point game total. Pick'em game here. While he's a solid pitcher, it is the Great American Small Park with decently warm temps. I'm fine with a little bit of Arizona there. They're definitely popping here on the projections. Don't mind a little. Highest value, we got White Sox versus Lugo. Don't absolutely love it. Lugo generally does not get blown up. Can he? Yes. I don't mind a little bit, but definitely not going too hard. I think there's plenty of different ways to get cheap where I don't have to go with the White Sox stack. Highest ceiling, we got Dodgers, Cubs, Arizona. Cubs versus Skubal. Can it happen? Yes. Is it likely? No. If I have any Cubs stacks, it's only going to be a lineup or two, probably. Dodgers versus Sonny Gray. I don't mind some Dodgers. They can get to absolutely anybody, and Sonny Gray, we have seen, has had some rough outings from time to time. Arizona we covered, so let's go to the highest leverage, which is the Cubs versus Skubal. No surprise there. Nobody's going to want to use the Cubs. Their offense is good enough, though, and so the leverage is interesting. Maybe I should have a little bit more than one or two as far as just a game theory play. They go for 8, and 5% of lineups or 2% of lineups have a Cubs stack. It makes it pretty interesting. And implied team tab. So Mets 6.4. They are 0.9 higher than anybody else on the slate. Obviously has some interest. Baltimore versus the A's. Very interesting at 5.5. Then you dip all the way to 5.1 versus Walker Buehler. I do think Walker Buehler is actually kind of an interesting pitcher today. I don't like picking on the Yankees, but dude's a gamer, and they've allowed him going over 100 pitches a couple times. Could see that happen. The A's versus Dean Kremer. Very interested in this spot. Kremer's decent. Bullpen behind him isn't. A's bats have been a little lacking lately, but hey, they could come alive in a one-game sample size. Seattle versus Hendricks. I've said over and over again, Hendricks I hate facing just because he's kind of annoying. You know, he has an ERA of 4.86 over the last 20. And it's just like a consistent, I'm going to give up 3 runs over 6 innings over and over and over again. Not that often that he gives up, 5 or 6, but he can. And with that poor bullpen behind him, Seattle has some interest. Arizona at 4.8, Cincinnati at 4.7, both carry some interest. Milwaukee versus Randy Vasquez for me is pretty interesting. Vasquez, 5.88 FIP over his last 5, gives up some hard contact. Milwaukee can steal some bags. A little interested there. If we come down the list here, St. Louis carries some interest to me. Colorado, obviously, even though it's versus Seneca, it's in Colorado. So I got a little interest there. And Detroit, Ben Brown has been absolutely dealing. 2.46 FIP, but he has a 6.66 ERA. Can that bad luck continue? Maybe. I don't mind a little bit of a Detroit. And then Boston versus Will Warren. Only a 3.9 game total, team total, but this game has like a 10.5 game total. I don't mind a little bit of Boston. Padres versus Chad Patrick. Don't absolutely love this spot. I don't mind if I get a little bit of Padres, and that's going to do it for us today. I hope you guys had a great week. It's nice to be back, and we will see you next week. Let's make some money. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all later. Peace.